everybody has a role, and our role really is to serve the patients here. That's what makes us special. And we're serving different patients. We're serving the children, we're serving adults, we're serving geriatric patients.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keshishian. Welcome to our podcast series, Health Calls with Dr. K. During this podcast series, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but specifically it's about medicine, the human side of medicine. We all have questions about our health, and who can you turn to? The doctors that you trust.
Hi everyone, welcome to House Calls with Dr. K. Today we're joined by Maritza Morales, the Executive Director for CARES at LAC+USC Medical Center. Hi Maritza.
Hi.
It's nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So Maritza, can you tell us a little bit about what is CARES exactly?
So CARES is a nonprofit organization here at the Medical Center. We are actually the Los Angeles County USC Medical Center Auxiliary, and we run 2 childcare centers, 2 gift shops, a coffee bar, a thrift shop, and then we provide services and programs for the patients here of the LAC+USC Medical Center.
That's amazing. That's a lot of programs. How do you do it all?
Drink a lot of coffee and no sleep. No, it's great. When you love what you do, it's easy.
And tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you end up in this role and the pathway to get to this amazing organization?
So I started here as a junior volunteer when I was 14. I was a freshman in high school at Bravo High School.
Wow.
So I was a candy striper here. And I started volunteering in the childcare centers. And I wanted to be a doctor. And when I got up into the wards to volunteer, I said, this isn't for me. So I came back down to childcare, and I pursued a degree in child development. So I got my BA in child development. And I've been here ever since. This is my first job, and this has been my only job.
Wow, that's quite an amazing story there.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here this long.
Oh yeah, I love it.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the different programs, maybe a little bit more in detail for our listeners?
So first and foremost, childcare, because again, that's where my heart is, but I love everything I do. So we offer free childcare to patients of the medical center as well as visitors. So while they're visiting a loved one or while they're receiving medical treatment, it's free care. We extend the service to employees of the medical center with a slight fee just to pay for our staff and to make up for the fees that we do not collect from our patients. We also have 2 gift shops that with the revenues from there we help pay for childcare, for example, and for some of the other programs that we do, as well as our coffee bar. And then our thrift shop, it's more of a service that we're providing. So patients are getting discharged on a daily basis. A lot of them don't have clothes because they either were in an emergency, they have no family. So we're providing gently used clothes to them, as well as also purchasing some of the larger sizes like 6X pants or size 14 shoes. So everything we do, again, is for the patients here.
Sounds like it's really specified to what our patients need and also our providers.
Exactly.
That's great. And what about the childcare programs? What kind of unique activities do you have there, and kind of what's the age range?
So we serve children from birth through age 11 in one classroom, and it seems a little chaotic, and it is at times, but our staff do a wonderful job. We have activities from going outside and playing to doing art activities, science, and now with COVID, we're doing distance learning or helping the children with that as well. We provide breakfast, lunch, and snack for the children. Wow. We do toilet learning, we do teaching them to walk, we do everything.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people do you have kind of in the program and in the organization?
As far as employees?
Yes.
CARES employees, we have right now about 41 employees. We have volunteers as well. Our board of directors are very active with us. We have volunteers that help in the childcare centers, they help in the shops, they help sorting out clothes for our patients. Children that we care for, we can have up to 25 children in each center at any time. So yeah, we have a little bit of all.
That's amazing. What do you think separates CARES from other nonprofit organizations?
Yeah. So CARES, we're here at the medical center. We only serve LAC+USC patients. It's in our charter. Just the fact that we provide so many different services under one roof, it's amazing. Everybody has a role, and our role really is to serve the patients here. That's what makes us special, because sometimes, and we're serving different patients. We're serving the children, we're serving adults, we're serving geriatric patients who sometimes are forgotten. This last Christmas, 2019, was the first year we provided gifts to our geriatric patients, and they got something simple, and it just made a world of difference to them. So we try to capture all the people here at the Med Center.
That's awesome. Speaking about gifts, I think that you do a lot with gifts as well, especially during the holidays.
Yes,
Can you tell us about that?
So about 35 plus years ago, we started through volunteer services. Our former executive director of CARES actually started the holiday giving program, where children were adopted by individuals and they were bought gifts for their children. Again, patients of the medical center. And about 5 years ago, CARES took this on, and what we're doing is, with the help of social work, they screen the patients, they refer them to us, and every child in the family gets a Santa sack full of toys. This year, we did it drive-through again because of COVID, and we were fortunate enough to give each child that was referred to us from the family a Santa sack full of toys, a box of dry goods, a box of produce, vegetables, chicken, dairy, and then a turkey, 10 to 12 pound turkey. So our families, to say the least, they were very happy, very excited about getting all that. A lot of the parents, they unfortunately are having to choose between, do I feed my family? Do I pay the rent? Do I buy them gifts? What do I do? So to be able to help them with that, it just makes a difference.
Yes, especially during this time, in the middle of a pandemic and all of the financial hardships that come with it. Absolutely. Correct. Can you maybe share with us a patient experience or something that a patient has said, or an outcome that I'm sure you've touched a lot of people's hearts in many different ways? Can you share one of these stories with us?
So there's one patient that I saw on Saturday. She's been a patient of ours. I actually took care of her daughter back when I was in the child care centers. And the mommy has been coming for well over 20 years to the hospital, to the medical center, and we've cared for the little girl since she was months old. We've watched her grow, or I've watched her grow, and along the lines, this mommy has had her health issues, and about 2 years ago, during the holiday giving program, this little girl, who is now, she must be now 16, 17 now, she was at high school, and we went to go and recruit volunteers because we needed volunteers for our program. And she came up to the gentleman, recognized the person, he's our chief of operations, and said, I want to give back. You all helped me and my mom so much when I was little. I want to give back and do exactly what you all did for us. So she remembers, and I don't remember doing that, but she does, that she received gifts at Christmas time from us when her mom was a patient here. And she was just so grateful to be able to help. Mom actually came on one day, and she was able to tell me, she says, I thank you because you all took care of my daughter so I could receive treatment. And she was really excited to come and help and be part of this holiday giving program.
That's such a touching story. Thank you for sharing. It really does show that patient-centered care really revolves around looking at all aspects of what's going on in that patient's life, including their family and the care that they need for their children and their loved ones.
It is.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a little bit about the different programs that you are receiving funding sources from. Is there any other entity that provides funding for CARES?
So we do have, of course, our generous donors, our board of directors, and we have anonymous foundations, and we apply for grants as well. Like we received 2 grants for the renovation of the pediatric emergency room that we're working on now from the Amundsen Foundation, Parsons Foundation, but we also get monies from the California Department of Education because one of our centers is actually a state-funded center. So we get reimbursed for caring for children of patients or for low-income employees. That way they can also go to work.
I'm sure the pandemic and the world of COVID has changed the way that your operations look. Can you describe a little bit about the adjustments that you've had to make due to the physical distancing and the safety precautions?
So in childcare, first and foremost, when you're used to caring for children all in one group and not necessarily assigning staff to a specific group, and moving to that was a little harder on the staff and the children, of course, because now we have them by groups. They're assigned groups, the teachers are assigned to a group, so they're no longer able to interact with all the children like they usually do. So that's been a little challenging, but the staff have all stepped up to the plate and really done it. And they understand the importance of just staying away from each other as much as possible.
Yeah.
But it's been hard with the children. How do you tell a child, no, you can't be that close, 6 feet of distancing? But they've managed. The parents, of course, talk to them all the time about it. In our pediatric reading program, we unfortunately don't have volunteers coming in to read with the children, but the books are still being delivered to the area so that the children can still have access to books while they're here hospitalized. We have our music program who has now moved their events to outside and limited the instruments that are being used, the musical instruments. In our gift shops, in our coffee bar, we've limited the number of customers inside. And just because we're here at the Med Center, everyone is more than happy to abide by that.
Sure.
But it has been an adjustment, just having to say, okay, we can't meet in person anymore. We can't, just like everyone else. But I think we've adapted. And fortunately, we've managed to keep our doors open. We haven't had to close. All the care staff are just, they believe in our mission. They want to help the patients. So being here is just of the utmost importance to all of us.
Where do you think this mission, this idea for the CARES program, how did it develop? Where did it come from, the essence of it?
So I believe initially, 51 years ago, that's how long
Yeah.
we've been here.
Yeah.
It was really just to, it came about was starting a gift shop so that patients could buy items for themselves that maybe perhaps were not able to be provided by the medical center. And then slowly just from the gift shop then came childcare, where it was, oh, there's so many patients that need to be seen. We were serving about 80 children a day back
Wow.
then. Now, of course, we're a lot less, but still the quality of care has just continued to get better and better as the years have gone on.
How do you think that this program and this organization can be adapted or adopted by different medical organizations or entities?
Well, it's a lot. I was sharing with someone just earlier that we wish we could be everywhere because it's needed. In order to provide services for patients in other hospitals, it truly takes a village. We need volunteers, and that's how we stay afloat, the staffing as well, obviously. And then we need money to be able to run it. But it is really important, like you mentioned earlier, it's just seeing the patient as a whole and being able to meet their needs in so many different ways, including, for example, we have a patient crisis fund that we do. Donors donate to us so we can provide financial assistance to patients for rental assistance, utility bills, or sometimes even just for food.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. It sounds like the people who care provide the care that's
Correct.
needed. Is there anything that you would like our listeners to know about CARES or ways that they can help out?
Definitely donations are always welcome. They're always needed, as I mentioned, with the Patient Crisis Fund. At one point we were giving an individual, it's on a one-time only basis that we do this, and it's hard to limit it to that. But in order to reach as many patients as possible, we do have to put a limit. At one point we were giving up to $300 per patient for this financial assistance, and now because of just the donations are a little less, and just because there's so many people that we want to help or need to help, it's now down to $150, so half of that. We're getting a lot of patients that need help with their utility bills right now, and their bills are like $400, $500. So definitely financial assistance. We are also doing food distributions twice a month here at the medical center in partnership with the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. We need bags, grocery bags, because our patients, they're coming, sometimes they come on the bus, sometimes they're coming in cars, but it's hard for them to carry a box full of food. So we are bagging everything for them. So that really is needed as well. And then clothing. We need men's clothing all the time, desperately. Men's pants, men's shoes, the bigger the better.
Interesting. And if somebody's interested in volunteering their time, how they go about doing that?
They can go either through volunteer services here at the medical center, or they can contact us directly if they want to volunteer in the childcare centers, or help sorting out clothes, or help even with the packing of the food and the distribution of the food. There's always something to do here at CARES.
And how do people get a hold of CARES?
So we have a website. It's currently being updated, but it's www.LAC+USCcares.org.
I wonder, I'm sure you've helped a lot of people during this very difficult time. Is there maybe something inspirational or something that touched your heart that was special, a story that you would share with us?
So there's a senior, during our food distributions, a lot of who we were seeing at the beginning were a lot of senior couples or senior patients. And you start seeing a lot of the same faces week after week. Even if we were doing it twice a month, we would still see them on a monthly basis. And one of those actually, after the pandemic began, she came to us and said, thank you for doing this. Because of you giving out this food, I'm able to use the money that I would have used on food to pay a bill. I don't get much from Social Security. We obviously can't work anymore. It was her husband and her. So by you all providing this food lasts us. She says, we don't eat much, but it just gives us that ability to pay for other things. So thank you for that. Yeah. And that's what we're here for. We want to help each patient as best as we can, even if it's by giving them food that will last them a week, that will last them 2 weeks, or even that just feeds their family for one meal. Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was very wonderful. Can I ask you, what inspired you at the age of 14 to volunteer and kind of, you stayed in that volunteer path, you yourself personally?
For me, it was an escape from home. It was. I wanted to be away from home due to just some home issues, and I said I wanted to do something. I wanted to involve my time and give back, and that's it. So I came here and I just stayed. I loved it. I did every job possible within CARES, from being a volunteer to being a teacher to being a supervisor to working in the gift shop. I've done everything here at CARES except for make coffee, because I would probably burn the coffee.
That takes a special skill, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. They're very talented, the staff that we have. So, yeah.
Right, like a half calf latte, non-fat, sugar, something or another.
It would be wrong if I made it. It would probably be all water instead. So.
But that is very inspiring, that if you are motivated to help people and you're not sure how, then this might be a good organization to try to connect with.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Maritza, for being a guest and for telling us all about your amazing program. And thank you for all the work that you do.
No, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in today. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and to subscribe to the LAC+USC Medical Center YouTube channel, where you can find all of our previous episodes, in addition to the episodes located on anchor.fm/House Calls with Dr. K. We also want to hear from you, so email us at lacuscpio@dhs.lacounty.gov. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next week.